morning, everybody. How are you today? Last night on the postgame, someone suggested that we do another group therapy session. Seemed to work last time, and it felt like some therapy was needed this morning. So I figured I would oblige. I turned off my my volume there. The only way it could have been worse is if Cole and Cortez had pitched these past two games. Things are not looking up. This is about as bad a position as you can be in if you're the Yanks. But if the Yankees can somehow win the next two, and that's a long shot, but they have a chance. But if they can somehow win the next two and even up this series, it becomes essentially anybody's series because they'll snatch the momentum. They'll have a shot to go up 3-2 and put some pressure on Houston, but it's not going to be easy. We got to be realistic. I am encouraged by a few things. Oswald Peraza is now the starting shortstop, no question. And defensively, he's pretty slick. So even if we lose, he's getting some valuable experience at a young age. And the crop of young guys that we've got coming up is really good. Volpe is legit. Jason Dominguez just keeps getting better and better, as they said he would. But again, I want to see more focus in this next crop of players and however the roster turns over this winter in contact. I want to see more contact hitters. It sucks that Benintendi is out. I feel like Benintendi and Mike King both being out has really hurt this team's chances. Valuable part of your lineup, valuable part of your bullpen. I mean, and those are two pieces that would have come up huge in the postseason so far. I'm encouraged that these games have been at least somewhat close. The Yankees haven't gotten blown out. I mean, last night it was one swing. But then again, the Yankees didn't hit much last night either. It's easy to be discouraged about a lot of things. 30 strikeouts in 2 games is unbelievably bad. Unbelievably bad. But Garrett Cole is in the spotlight on Saturday. I believe the game's at 5 p.m. And it's a do-or-die game. And it's as close to... And it's not really a do-or-die. It's as close to a do-or-die game as you can get. If you lose, you're down 3-0. And you're not coming back from 3-0 against the Astros. So it's essentially a do-or-die game. But if you win, maybe you snatch some momentum. Anything's possible with Nestor Cortez on the mound. He can be funky. You got to get this thing back to 2-2 to even have a chance, in my opinion. So looks like we finally got some people in the chat. Got about 50 people in the chat. So let's talk through this. We get a little water. Evil Magnitude says, how much salary do we have locked up in Donaldson and Chapman and Britton right now? So Donaldson makes $25 million. Chapman makes, I want to say 17 or 18 million, but he's going to be coming off the books. And Britton, I'm not quite sure. I think he's also about 16 or 17 million. So he's coming off the books too. Lord Raiden says, I just hate how this team makes excuses like Higgy talking about exit velo on that horrible pitch to Bregman, or Boone blaming the win for the Judge, fly ball, not going out, no accountability. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, Michael Kay had a great retort on that, talking about, like, you don't hear the pitchers in the olden days complaining about the exit velocity. It is what it is. You don't need a lot of exit velocity when it's a short left field porch. And, the Judge thing, the wind probably did knock it down, but, both teams play in the same ballpark. So you got to deal with the same conditions. I'm also a little bit tired of the complaining and the excuses. It's not worthy of the Yankees. Douglas Rao says, in 2017, the Yankees lost the first 2 games in Houston and then won all 3 in the Bronx. And that was, that is true. And it was improbable back then. You would love for it to happen again. In all reality, though, this team is better than the 2017 team for the Astros. I mean, they got better pitching. They've got a better bullpen. They've got a little bit more experience. Yordan Alvarez is, full superstar mode now. Yuli Gurriel still gives you trouble. I mean, this guy, he's pesky. He's just, he's a pro hitter. Rockin' Moroccan says hello. How you doing? Antonio says, if we win with Cole on the mound tomorrow, we're going to switch the momentum. You got to hope so. Kobe G says, Cashman is a terrible GM. GMing for the Yankees is like buying a Rolls Royce, but Cashman gets all the unnecessary options. Interesting analogy. I do think that Cashman has recognized some of the changes that they've had to make. They went out and got more contact. Benintendi. Right? I mean, that was supposed to fix. It's a left-handed contact bat. He's the perfect fit. Just got hurt. It's just bad luck. Trevino going ice cold in the playoffs, and Higashioka really hasn't been able to hit all season. You kind of wish that they would get a little bit of offense out of the catcher position. You'd like to get some offense out of shortstop. IKF hasn't done anything in the entire postseason. Peraza being in there now, I mean, it's great and all, but he hasn't played in a while, so how can you expect him to do very much at the plate? And Matt Carpenter, speaking of having not played in a while, Matt Carpenter didn't play for months, and he's getting valuable at-bats, and we're seeing that he's not ready. I mean, he didn't get to rehab. He just looks completely overmatched. They're pitching him tough, but when Matt Carpenter was swinging the bat well, I mean, nobody could get him out. Evil Magnitude says, exit velo stuff seems to make people believe that something should have been a hit is as good as or something that should have been a hit is as good as an actual hit. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. In baseball, you do want to hit the ball hard as often as possible, but I'd argue that contact is better than whiffing, right? Because at least something can happen, as Michael Kay likes to say. You put the ball in play, as we saw with Valdez. You can throw it away. You can get errors. Guys playing tight in the postseason can mess up. It's definitely more valuable to make contact than it is to whiff. Now, in terms of the exit velocity, yes, you'd prefer to hit it hard, but I'll take a soft contact over a miss any day of the week. Sam Guzman says, what are the chances we take 3 at home and lose in 7? I'd say if we take 3 at home, it's going to actually put some pressure on the Astros, because you'll be playing from behind. Right now they're ahead. They're playing confident. They're playing loose. You put them behind in a hole where anything can go wrong. It creates the luck factor, right? But that's certainly a possibility. Right now, all that stuff is on the table. Mike Rotunda says, can't see the Yankees winning 4 out of the next 5 when we only won 2 of the last 9 against them. I mean, that's what it comes down to. They're just a better team. And I know that you're all Yankees fans, or most of you are Yankees fans. I'm obviously a Yankees fan. And we want to hype up our team. We want to never say anything bad about our team. And we definitely don't want to say anything good about our rivals. But you have to give credit where credit's due. They've assembled a really good roster. I mean, going through that roster, their first baseman is better. Their second baseman, Altuve, even though he hasn't hit much in this series, I think every one of us would take him in a big spot over Gleyber Torres. Shortstop and third base are better for the Astros. Center field, the Yankees probably have the edge defensively. And in right field, they've got the edge offensively and defensively. Left field, got to go with the Astros too. I mean, they're just a better team. And then you look at the rotation. I'll take the Yankees' top 2 against pretty much anybody except the Astros. I mean, you look at what Verlander has done year in and year out. He's unbelievable. Unbelievable. The People's Champion says, how long will Cashman's poor roster construction be allowed to stand? I think we're about to find out. He is not under contract going into next year. And though there may have been a contract negotiation behind the scenes, we just haven't seen it yet. We have no reason to believe that. Got some people saying what we all know to be true, that the Astros are head and shoulders above the Yankees right now. Mike Rotunda agrees that it's just the reality, that they're a better team. So it's nothing to be ashamed of or embarrassed about. The Yankees have outperformed what they were expected to do this year. I think they coached a lot of guys up. You know, this was a team that improved on their win total last year by 7. They got better. They won the division. We kept a lot of guys healthy. But we had some key injuries, really, that have affected the postseason in a big way. Mike King, huge loss to the bullpen. Not being able to use Holmes back-to-back, huge loss. Although we might see him back-to-back now that the Yankees have their backs up against the proverbial wall. And Andrew Benintendi. I mean, just changes everything. Parks and Young says they need more contact offense. Having Benny and DJ would have helped. I miss DJ too. And it'll be interesting to see how DJ progresses going forward. This is 2 years in a row that he's been hurt at the end of the season, and I believe he's signed for another 4 more seasons. But the Yankees might have to limit his playing time next year. You know, he might not be able to be that guy who plays all over the field all the time. Play him at third base, switch him off with IKF a couple of times a week. Let him play 100 games, 115 games next year. You know, let him take a couple of days at first base to rest Rizzo when he needs it, and then trade off time at third base with IKF or with Oswaldo Cabrera. You know, let him stay healthy. And then in the playoffs, deploy him for whoever's struggling to make contact. Yankees Judge says, are we ever going to beat this team? It's not looking like it. A-Man says, are you wearing enough layers to keep Alaska warm? Fuck me for being cold, right? All right. Sam Chrisley says, it's not like the Yankees are getting blown out. I'm still riding with this team. I mean, it's you definitely want to stick with your team through, tough times, but it's also very difficult to be optimistic right now about what this team is giving you. You'd love to pick up a win or two at home. You'd love to pick up 3, but you realistically need to pick up the next 2. You realistically have to pick up the next 2 to have any kind of chance. Douglas says it's embarrassing that they've put together a team for $152 million than the Yankees did for $233 million. I thought the Yankees had $251 million. I think the Yankees, let me look at Sport Track. Yankees payroll. So their 2022 official payroll was, hang on, I'm not seeing it. Active payroll is showing $150 million, but that can't be right. It's probably gone backwards because of the season being over, so they've probably deducted people. They're already showing 2023 stuff, so let me go back to 2022. $264 million. Let me go ahead and put this on the screen here for you. So AAV tax payroll 256. It says active total payroll 264. And then we got some high priced guys on here. Josh Donaldson, his adjusted salary is $23 million. Luxury tax is $25 because he's got a buyout that effectively changes the AAV. Judge making $19 million. He's going to make a lot more next year. He's probably going to make twice that. Aroldis Chapman's coming off the books. Rizzo's coming back most likely. He's got an opt-out, but I think he'll be back. LeMahieu's got a very reasonable salary at $15 million AAV. It's more years than you want. But Christian says, I have made a prayer. I know we'll be all right. I hope your prayer works. My hunch is that it's going to take an act of God to come back and win this. Sam Chrisley says Dodgers and Mets spent more. I mean, that's evidence that, it's not how much you spend, it's how you spend it, right? So, Hicks has still got 10.7 or it's 10 million effective luxury tax AAV. I think you got to find a way to get rid of as much of that as possible. Even if you have to eat 5 or 6 million, I'm sure somebody would take him on for 3 or 4 million just to play defense, But you might have to give up something else to go with him, like a prospect or something, to get somebody to take that. So, not going to be easy. Yankees Judge says, why can't we beat them in Houston? They're better than we are. And Infernus says, the Yankees bats need to wake up. I mean, that pretty much sums it up. We got to hit the ball, got to pitch the ball over the next 2 days. In addition, it's going to be a somber weekend if the Yankees don't start swinging the bats. Parks and Young says, Yanks made a mistake of not trading for Verlander. Yeah, they should have had him. They should have got him. Agree. I wanted them to get him back in the day. You could tell that the stuff was still there. But pitching in Detroit, he had just lost all, the competitive opportunities. But the stuff was still there. So, all right, guys. I will see you after tomorrow's game. I think it's at 5 p.m. So take it easy over the next couple of days. And I'll see you when I see you.